And I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder. One of the four beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold, a white horse.
You've read the headlines. The number of people who do not affiliate with a particular religion is on the rise. Younger generations, mainly millennials, exhibit a lack of trust in institutions, especially the church. Many Americans have begun to view Christian beliefs and behaviors as extremist. It's not a very welcoming environment for pastors. To be clear, most people don't actively hate pastors, they just don't really care about them. Only 1/4 of all U.S. adults holds a very positive opinion of pastors in general. Meanwhile, roughly the same proportion reports a negative opinion. Given this lukewarm reception, ministers hold only a certain amount of clout in their communities. 1/4 of the general population says pastoral influence in their city or neighborhood is minimal, while just 1 in 5 adults goes so far as to call their pastors very influential. In turn, Barna found that many pastors sense these constraints themselves, in society, in their communities, and sometimes even in their own congregations. A majority of pastors express concerns about religious liberty and public respect, a worry bolstered by the fact that trust in pastors' credibility wanes when it comes to applying faith to real-life issues like politics and justice. Yet, 2/3 of adults maintain that the presence of clergy is at least of some benefit to the public, leaving room for pastors to continue to make a positive difference. Among adults who know a pastor personally, nearly 2/3 regards them very positively. Even the religiously unaffiliated are more likely to have something good to say about a pastor with whom they have a personal connection. About half of adults also admit that their actual experience with church leaders has been better than the portrayals or stereotypes they've witnessed in the media. And Barna's research also indicates that people still crave the church's guidance in areas such as relationships, racial reconciliation, and serving needs in the community. The challenges of relevant, resilient leadership in the midst of vast societal shifts can be daunting, but there remains another option for today's pastors: to show up, to be spurred forward, recommitting their efforts to sharing an unchanging gospel in an ever-evolving culture.
I almost quit. I'm a country boy. I'm from West Virginia. I don't know nothing about this big time stuff. I never even asked to be big. I wanted to be effective, not famous. Famous is the consequences of being effective. I didn't know nothing about being famous, and I didn't like it. And so there I was, and when you first knew, everybody attacks you first and figures you out later. And the first time I was in the Washington Post, the article was so vicious it made me nauseous. I was so shocked that you could say that stuff about somebody you didn't even know based on assumptions and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. They piece it all together and you don't get to say anything back. So I decided I don't want this. I was preaching for Pastor Bishop Donnie Mears, and nobody knew it because preachers can override their feelings and function. I preached, the place was on fire, but inside I want to quit. I told God, I'm through with this. I'm not going through this. I don't need this. I don't need that. I'm a guy who likes to go get his own chicken wings. I don't have to have all of that stuff to be happy. So I thought, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this because I don't need this and I didn't ask for this. I'm only doing this because of what happened in my life, of the circumstances that happened in my life. He put me on stage. I didn't ask for it. And when I saw how much it cost, I thought, you can have that right back here. You can have that right back up in here. I don't need it. So I was mad inside and I was hurt. And I stayed up in the fellowship with the pastors because I didn't want to go back to my room and sulk in my own sorrows. And they said, there's a lady downstairs waiting to see you. The service was over and the fellowship was over. The pastor was starting to leave. I was trying to outwait her. I thought she'd give up and leave. And when I finally came down the steps, she was there. And she was just a willowy bit of a woman. And she said, Bishop Jakes, She said, I've been in the hospital. She said, I was pregnant in my fallopian tubes, and the baby died in my tubes, and I was carrying around a dead baby, and the toxicity from the baby almost killed me. And she said, the only thing that kept me alive was hearing you preach. She said, if you hadn't been preaching to me every day, I swear I would have died. And then she looked at me and she said, it's for us. It's not for them. It's for us. It hit me so hard. I didn't even get her name. I got in the car and cried all the way back to my room because she reminded me why I was there. Last week when I text you, I was up in Baltimore in D.C. and I was doing a book signing. And this woman came up to the table to buy a sword. She said, you don't remember me, do you? I said, no, she didn't even look like the same person. She's all dressed up, gained weight, she felt like she wanted to say. She said, I met you in the bottom of Donnie Mears Church years ago, and I burst into tears. I lost it. I stopped the signing, and I jumped up and hugged her. If it were not for that woman,